Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Open for Business. We're here with Mindy Grossman, CEO of WW International, formerly Weight Watchers, Deborah Weinswig, CEO of Coresight Research, and Marie Driscoll, Managing Director of Luxury and Retail at Coresight Research. We'll now turn it over to Deborah to kick it off.
I'm your co-host, Deborah Weinswig, CEO and founder of Coresight Research. I'm joined by my co-host, Marie Driscoll, Managing Director at Coresight, and Mindy Grossman, CEO of WW International, formerly Weight Watchers. Today, we are going to discuss the future of health and wellness, the importance of community, and the evolving definition of health. Coresight has hosted over 50 digital events since March 1st. Coresight researches the topics of tomorrow with impact for today, and we have been advising our retail, technology, and real estate clients in this unique environment. The Open for Business platform provides insights to the industry from thought leaders around the world like Mindy Grossman. We are honored to introduce Mindy today, who joined WW as president and CEO in 2017 and has changed the way we all view the company and the opportunities ahead, and even the definition of what it means to be healthy. Prior to joining WW, Mindy served as CEO of HSN and was a member of the company's board of directors. She positioned HSN as a leader in boundaryless retail, a term we often use in China to really talk about new retail, offering customers a seamless shopping experience across multiple channels. Before HSN, Mindy grew multiple brands while in leadership roles in the apparel business, including Nike, Ralph Lauren, Warnaco, Tommy Hilfiger, and Oxford Industries. Mindy currently serves as vice chairman and member of board of directors for UNICEF USA, and is a member of the board of directors of Fanatics. She is a true leader and inspiration to us all, and we really have so much to learn from her today. Thank you so much for joining us, Mindy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you, Marie and Deborah.
Thank you. So, Mindy, we've talked about this year of transformation, not only a continuous opportunity for WW, but also for the consumer. What have you and what has the company learned so far this year?
This has been quite the year, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's been a very interesting journey. We entered 2020 with probably the greatest momentum we've had in the last number of years. And to your point, we've been undergoing a transformation, both a digital transformation and a transformation from certainly being a leader in healthy weight loss, but also a transformation to become a full ecosystem of wellness for people to be able to be on the journey to live their best lives. We had just launched MyWW, which is for the first time in the company's history, a completely personalized plan and program. And we actually have done a 9-city arena tour with Oprah. WW presents your 2020 Vision Forward. And March 7th, I was in Denver with 15,000 people at the finale of the tour. And then the world changed and flew back to New York on March 8th. We made the decision for the safety and security of our employees and our members to pause all of our workshops. To give you a perspective, we have about 5 million members, all who have our digital assets. About 25% also went to the face-to-face experience. And in addition to safety and security, we were obsessed with the fact that in today's world, and given what was happening, community was going to be the most important thing that people need. And that's followed through to today. Motivation, inspiration, and support. And so in 6 days, we reallocated the entire product tech team. We trained 14,000 coaches and guides. And in 12 countries simultaneously, we launched virtual workshops with 15,000 being done in the first week. And the reason I tell that story so specifically is you're hearing from every CEO and every company right now that what this has done is greatly accelerate everyone's digital transformation. And we were already in that process and had made the investments. And what we're seeing now, and how I like to describe it, is the brands of the future are really going to have to marry technology plus meaning to help people live better connected lives. And we're seeing it through real data, just like you. we have 5 million people where we know what they're eating, we know what how they're exercising, we know through our social platforms what they're talking about. We monitor all of those virtual workshops. And even though we're getting ready to reopen our studios, the virtual world is not going to go away, whether that's from the workplace or whether it's from the consumer landscape or the community landscape. And we're really seeing that in real time.
So, Mindy, how has the community changed since March 17th or March 7th, 8th? And how has the community changed, and how has your communication with the community changed?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the community has changed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has really heightened the importance of the community. The second thing that we've done, and again, we were in process, but we expanded it. Within our digital community, we have something called Connect. It's our social platform. We created many more Connect groups. So you could have a community that you can relate to based on what you're going through. So think of young moms, they're at home schooling their kids. Think of college students, they don't even know if their schools are reopening. What are they talking about and what support do they need? Black women, a conversation based on everything happening right now. So the importance of community is so greatly enhanced. The second thing is what we had to do when, this pivot happened, we got out of every single piece of marketing and content that had existed. And we decided to kind of take the chance to go to completely user-generated content, whether that was in our television campaigns or our social campaigns, because we believe that the most important thing right now was authenticity, was really being able to show real time what was happening. And that's literally how we've managed our marketing and communication since March. The other thing that we've done, both internally and externally, is there's no such thing as over communication right now. People think, oh, they must be tired of hearing from me. No, I do a member newsletter as Mindy the member, not Mindy the CEO, sharing in real time what's happening in my life. Or whether it's I'm doing town halls where I'm saying what I'm going through. And I think the new leadership today, I like to think that people used to think that vulnerability was a weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you can have right now. And how are you sharing your experiences, your vulnerability, but how are you letting people know with clarity what's happening in real time? And, I joke around, you have a whole new range of responsibilities today. You're the CEO, the chief crisis officer, the chief communication officer, and the chief hope officer, right? And that's where people, it's what people really want. It's kind of how I am a self-described resilient optimist, right? We have to do things today. We all have had to make hard decisions. We've all had to think about how we want to be coming out of this, because it's not going backwards. For us, it has literally, given us the impetus and the air cover, as you will, to really accelerate our digital transformation that was already happening. And so I think that ability to quick pivot, the ability to make sure the community came together, the ability to give them the right content in real time is why we've been able to keep our member base, our retention, and really see a path forward.
When you talk about your digital transformation, can you talk about where on the path are you, and have you adjusted that plan as we've continued to go through this environment, and you've seen how your members have reacted to the changes you've made?
Yeah, there's quite a few things that we've really learned. One is the more engagement we can provide right now. So for example, we added hydration tracking. We added sleep tracking, which was on the docket, but we accelerated it. a lot more content around things like stress. Mental health, as we know from a health and wellness perspective, was an issue before coming into this, and now certainly it is. So how could we monitor and support? The other thing we started doing is a lot more live events across our platforms, but also outside our platforms. So we took the learnings from the live event we did with Oprah. We partnered with her and we launched a series of 4 weeks, 4 Saturdays, virtual events. But we made the decision to make it free for everyone globally in a world where people really need this right now. And in that first Saturday, we had 500,000 people watch the live event, 40,000 on Zoom Interactive, and then on Facebook and YouTube. And we've already had, I haven't seen the last numbers, but over 3 million views of that content. And every week was a different theme. I'll give you an example. The week it was about relationships, and we had Esther Perel, was fabulous because it's addressing the things that are on everybody's mind right now. So we've been able to use all these digital capabilities. The second thing we did is we're shrinking our real estate footprint. And we had already had it planned, and we'd already announced that later this year, we were launching a whole new vertical of the company for membership of digital plus virtual group coaching. And that is on track to launch. We were able to take a lot of learnings about the current reality. So it's not the virtual product we have right now to replace the physical workshop. It's a whole new vertical with coaching at the forefront. And I think that's going to be really important too.
You know, Mindy, you have done an incredible work with communities before you came to WW, but also now. And I'm just wondering, like, given all your retail experience, how do you think retailers can better navigate this current environment based on the new needs of the consumer, which are about safety, wellness, health? It's as much about feeling as it is about product.
To your point, Maria, I've always gravitated towards brands that serve versus sell. It's a expression Leslie Blodgett, who started Bare Essentials, uses all the time, and have built communities. I mean, HSN was a community. They were attached to the hosts and the brands. Nike ultimately is a community. Right. Ralph, they're all different. And I do think that retail brands, everybody has to be thinking of, why people are going to want to engage with them. This landscape is going to create a massive reappraisal on how each of us works, lives, and spends. And trust is going to be a very significant factor in choices that people are going to make, and how they feel brands treated them and treated others throughout this time are going to be very important. But I would say any brand, and if you look in the landscape, I think it's going to be those who've kept their communities together and had that at the forefront. And look, there's certain industries that certainly have been, impacted much more greatly, such as travel and certain areas of retail. So everyone's going to have to go through a period of reinvention and reappraisal. But again, it is going to be important that everyone understands how to totally bring the virtual and the real, let's call it, together to make it feel like one, not bifurcated. And I think that's going to be really important.
Yeah, I agree with you on this idea of the virtual and the real coming together and what that looks like in the future. You also talked about this idea early on in terms of the ecosystem of wellness. How do you think about that, not only just from a services perspective, but from a merchandise perspective also?
Yes, that's really interesting. We're very much a science-based company. We have a chief scientific officer, an academic advisory board. youth and family advisory board. So everything we do, whether it's a loyalty program or whether it's a food program, are built on the science of sustainable behavior change. And that's what we're focused on. And when we launched our Impact Manifesto in February 2018, and what our new mission was to inspire healthy habits for real life, people, families, communities, the world, for everyone. And how could we democratize wellness? And when you sit back, it's mind, body, spirit, etc. So we have verticals now of nutrition, activity. We just launched with Fit On video fitness, active audio fitness, mindset. Headspace is integrated into our app. Wellness Wins is our loyalty and reward program. WW Good is our 501(c) to help underserved communities get healthier. Connect is our social platform, and now sleep, hydration. You know, I think people used to feel that, okay, I just need to do this to get healthy and then I cannot worry about it. And the reality is mindset has shifted. People want to know at every part of their journey what they could do to be healthier. And what I need at 60 as a grandmother, what my daughter needs at 30 as a young mom, we have different needs. And so personalization across that ecosystem is going to be very important for people, especially given what they want today. And what this pandemic is doing is wellness is going to go from being a luxury to a necessity. People used to feel like, oh, if I get sick, I'll fix it. Now it's, I do not want to get sick and I want to be healthy and I need someone I trust who is going to give me the tools to be able to do that. And that's what we're trying to do.
But actually, Mindy, one other thing that's really interesting, right? This idea of not only can I go to WW to learn, but having this community, I think, and it goes back to what you just said, right? This community of trust. I mean, that's a game changer for people. And it also then empowers them to make decisions that, you know, they don't feel like they're alone. I mean, it's truly unbelievable what you've created and how far you've come in such a short period of time.
Right. And it's not just the brand, it's how the community supports each other. I will tell you that when I joined the organization, I obviously became a member while I was, you know, in process, and I spend a lot of time on our Connect platform. And you know what's going on in social media right now. There's no toxicity. It is people who are literally coming together to support one another. And it was shocking to me just how vulnerable and the things that people would be open to share because they feel that it's a safe place. And I think that's really important as well. And we foster that, you know, and hold that at the highest standards, because I think everybody needs that right now.
It is amazing. And it's so important that you feel safe and nurtured. But what you've done is you've opened a whole new market potential, right? I mean, this is people who want to maintain wellness and plan for wellness and live a well lifestyle, as opposed to what, you know, the original inception of Weight Watchers, which was to lose weight and keep it off.
I know everybody, you know, kind of laughed at me a little bit when, you know, I wouldn't allow the words before and after on any photos. I said, we're going to use then and now because it's a journey and it keeps going. The other thing, and you brought this up before, which is a big focus for us, we have a lot of opportunity in the consumer products platforms. You know, we currently, certainly on our e-commerce site or our Amazon store within our studios, have products, but it is such a big opportunity for us, both in our own branded products, co-branded, and what I would call a healthy marketplace. So you'll see a lot more expansion of that from us. I mean, our focus is clearly still going to be on a membership model around recruitment and retention, but I do think the opportunities within what I would call events and created content and consumer products are both opportunities.
Great. So I think we're going to turn it over to our audience Q&A. So one of the first questions we have is, how can you work more closely with employers?
I'm very glad you asked that question. We have what's called our health solutions business, which we used to define it as B2B. And then I said, no, it should be B2B2C because you want the engagement. And then somebody I spoke to yesterday said, no, you should think of it as B2H, business to human, right?
I like that.
So our health solutions business is to support employers, providers, payers, and physicians. I brought a new team in, which took over about 2 years ago. We built a tech hub in Toronto because I think what's going to be important going forward in workplace wellness, I do think companies are going to have to change how they're looking at it because employees, particularly younger ones, are going to have an expectation that the companies are going to provide that support. So what we needed to do was build a much more sophisticated suite of tools around the validation of what the program can provide the company in terms of whether that's health of their employees, productivity, lack of absenteeism, et cetera. So we literally relaunched that business. We have a great portfolio of customers, and that will be one of our growth vehicles over the next number of years.
So we got a question about the demographic of the average member. Can you talk about that then and now?
Sure, absolutely. And actually, this entire kind of scenario has definitely changed. So when I got to the company, one of my very big focal points was diversity, not only internally, but externally. How do we service more broadly? And the way I think of diversity, right, is gender, race, ethnicity, age, geography, and life stage, right? So how do we look at all of this? And how do we approach that? Particularly as we broaden much more significantly and deepen our digital, transformation. So what we've seen is we're still primarily female, although we have seen upticks as we've marketed more to a male. And actually it drives women crazy because when men go on the program, they are wildly successful. It's easy, but we have seen our demographic, age-wise, particularly because of the digital expansion, come down. But you're probably talking your average is 35 to 40-ish. But we really have all segments, and we literally, somebody asked me about my addressable market or my competition. And basically what I say is our biggest two big competitors. One, people thinking they can get healthy themselves. And two, the last great experience someone had. And I say that to any brand, any company, because if somebody you used to always think of your competition in your lane. No. My competition could be Netflix. If it's personalized and for you and they know you, and then you come to me and I don't personalize for you, that's why you really have to be thinking of the consumer backwards and what experiences are they having and what are the important things. And certainly personalization is one of them.
Mindy, it's really interesting you talk about that. We've seen on the Open for Business series, talking to many CEOs, personalization is at the top of the list in terms of, right, the consumer is now more comfortable with it. The technology is available, and many CEOs are starting their roadmap with this idea that not only can it kind of ingratiate themselves more, their companies, with current customers, but there's a significant opportunity to drive those numbers higher in the future as well.
Absolutely. And it's also a key factor in things like retention, right? So if I know what your behavior is within my ecosystem, And I can use AI to know that that I can tell that you may fall off the cliff, right? And I can motivate you personally based on what I know you like, so I can get you back on track. Not only will that be a benefit to me from a retention point of view, it's going to be a benefit to that human to be more successful.
I like ice cream, but I'm not sure how much that's going to help me get back on track, Mindy.
So
Well,
another
sometimes
question.
you need a little treat.
Yeah, that's true.
Totally. Life should be filled with a lot of treats, right?
I agree, especially now.
Exactly.
So how do you balance innovation and maintain a consistent customer experience?
Well, I think you have to constantly be testing and iterating.
Right.
I think, we all used to aim for perfection, right? And so when we did that quick pivot to virtual, afterwards, we brought the group together and we said, how did we make that happen? How does this become normal course of business? We empowered people, we galvanized them, we time boxed it, and we were able to do it because we didn't aim for perfection, right? And the experience today from the day we launched it has been built upon. So I think it's going to be really important to test and iterate. And the most important thing is listening and experiencing. And you have to do that today, because innovation, just for innovation's sake, it has to have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that marriage of technology and meaning and consumer insights, is what you do, is so important.
Great. Well, Mindy, I can't believe we've reached our time. This was unbelievable. We still have so many questions from the audience.
Love talking to you.
Hopefully we get on again soon. Thank you so much and take care.